Hey, honey,
Yes, Barry?
let's get out of here.
Where are we going?
Where do we always go?
Fascina el viento, este ritmo de palmas, sin mi naturaleza, hasta encontrar la playa. Por eso grito al mundo, yo soy de Puerto Vallarta. Samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de arrullo en el mar. Samba de Puerto Vallarta.
Hello, fellow travelers, and welcome to this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. I'm your host, Barry Kessler, and I'm just so happy to be introducing you to my favorite vacation destination. Maybe it's even yours, and that's Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. That music you're listening to is performed by Alberto Perez, and Alberto is the owner of the Lapa Lapa group of restaurants. Those are the Lapa Lapa, Puerto Vallarta's oldest restaurant on the famous Los Muertos beach, and the El Dorado Restaurant and Beach Club right next door. So you can enjoy that fantastic view of the Los Muertos Pier, all lit up at night in beautiful colors, or during the day in its grand splendor for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Seated with your toes in the sand right at the water's edge. It's so romantic. It's so Puerto Vallarta, my friends. This week we are going to go to Zona Centro in Puerto Vallarta. We're going to go visit a cute little clothing store named Luisa's. And we'll be talking with the owner of this 30-year-old establishment. Her name is Luisa Martinez. But before we get to Luisa, let's see what's happening in Puerto Vallarta this week, the 31st of December, 2020. Happy New Year, everybody. Puerto Vallarta is cold. According to my buddy Salvador, a winter chill, complete with lots of cold rain, fell yesterday. Caught a lot of people by surprise. Well, remember last year, there was a whole lot of rain, just actually right after New Year's, right around New Year's, but not cold like this. Anyway, if you're heading down to Vallarta, you might want to take just a little extra wrappage, just in case. Puerto Vallarta is still under a partial lockdown order since the 25th of December, and it is going to be going on until the 10th of January, which will take us past the 6th of January, which is Three Kings Day. And currently in El Torito, they have just begun to celebrate the Fiestas de Enero, the Fiestas of January, which will go all the way, actually, till the 12th of January. So if you're in town, you want to go check out how COVID-free El Torito is, go celebrate, up there. Three Kings Day, or Dia de los Tres Reyes Magos, is generally the last day of celebrations that traditionally take place every year for Christmas. And, some Mexicans actually expect Santa Claus to come visit them on the 6th of January. That is, if he hasn't, shown up yet. But they won't get a chance to go to a club or drink at a bar, unless that bar is also considered a restaurant. And those are the current restrictions to battle the spread of the current COVID situation. And that will happen, like I said earlier, until January the 10th in 2021 in Puerto Vallarta. When I was in Puerto Vallarta in November, I did notice that Freddy's Toucan was all closed up, and they were doing a big remodel job inside. It was a big mess in there. Actually, I mentioned they do have a new location over in Fluvial, big, beautiful restaurant up there. And my friends Tony and Stella just told me that they reopened the one in town. And so it's looking great. It looks beautiful, all nicely remodeled. And so when I get there in a week or two, I will get some pictures of the new remodeled Freddy's. And I'll go to the brand new one too. I haven't had a chance to go check that place out either. And I'll grab some pictures, and maybe I can even talk to Freddy if I can get a hold of him. Now, as for this particular planned third trip down that I'm going to be taking, this is the third trip since the reopening of tourism in Mexico. And during the pandemic, I've only gotten one notice of a change in my flight plans, and it was just an adjustment of my departure time. The day I come home, those little suckers, they cut my trip short by 40 minutes. I'm so mad. Anyway, in case you are wondering what I paid for tickets and what I am paying to stay this time around, I will tell you. Los Angeles to Puerto Vallarta round trip was $270 on Delta Airlines. And yes, they are still offering the middle seat open, meaning that you don't have to, sit right cuddled up next to a person right next to you. Masks are required at all times on the planes and in the terminals. And so that's what's going on there. I'll fill you in when I get off that plane, and I report on that. And, let you know if they're still doing the same kinds of checks and what they're asking you to do. And I don't know if they're asking you to give blood. I don't know what they're doing this time, but I'll report. I'll let you know what's going on. All right, so the flight was $270, and this time I really got lucky on Airbnb. I was using the map function of the Airbnb app, which I use a lot because that kind of gives me an idea of where in town places are. And I also left in the option for the possibility of this place, whatever this place I was looking for, could be a hotel. I said it could be a boutique bed and breakfast. It could be any number of things like that. So I kind of left those open, and I was a little bit intrigued by one of these locations. And lo and behold, when I clicked on it, it was for a room over at the Hotel La Siesta. $32 a night over at the La Siesta. So when I included tax and all the fees, it came to just under $40 a night for a room at the La Siesta, or, as it turns out, about $394 for 10 nights. So not bad. This room is, the La Siesta is right in the middle of town. It overlooks downtown, and beautiful, beautiful views of the bay. So I was there last October in 2019. It was off season, and it was $55 a night back then. So I got a really good deal because this is high season. And actually, the La Siesta, if you're familiar with the El Panorama, the restaurant El Panorama, that is where the El Panorama sits, right on top of the La Siesta. The building actually was for sale last year for a cool $10 million. You could have had it, but the owners, they took it off the market before I could buy the place. So anyway, it does not have air conditioning. Those rooms over at the La Siesta do not have air conditioning, so it was a little rough in October, but it should be just perfect for this time of year, especially since it's a little chilly, like I just mentioned. I remember the internet was kind of sucky, but the view was spectacular, and I did take a video of the place. Well, last time I was there, I did a little video review, so I will pop that in the show notes so you'll be able to see where I'm staying for just $40, just under $40 a night. It's pretty cool. It's also halfway up to the Cross. So I should be taking morning hikes up to the cruise while I'm in paradise. So let's see. We got the flight, and we had the lodging. So the grand total for both, $664 US. That's just $64 shy of what Uncle Sam should be sending me in a couple of days. I don't know why I need it. I've been working this whole time, so I'll probably end up giving it to Mexicans anyway. But anyway, that $664 does not include food and drink and transportation and weed and gifts and whatever else I'm going to be buying. So, well, I don't know. I've never really totaled it all up before, probably because I don't want my wife to find out. Barcelona Tapas has a new website, and it is absolutely beautiful. Great looking website. I will link to it in the show notes, and I cannot wait to get back over to Barcelona Tapas. Spent a few evenings over at the Barca Lounge. Kick back there, listen to some live music. Great view in the evening. Great drinks. Not far from where I'm going to be staying either, so it's going to be great. Check out their website. And next time you're in town, if you're not there already, check out Barcelona Tapas, really. So we are finally at the end of this really crappy year. It was the 4th year of the podcast, and I thought really long and hard about giving it all up, really. Figured when this whole thing started, about, maybe just staying home and giving it a rest. And to be perfectly honest, I've kind of paid dearly for going forward and deciding to keep on promoting Puerto Vallarta through the pandemic. I've had listeners who have sent me some really, really nasty, mean emails, travel shaming me. I've had listeners accuse me of being a member of a certain political party, which I am not. I've had people actually hope that I get the Rona and die, or someone in my family get the Rona and die. I mean, I've been accused of being a COVID denier, which I don't even know what that means, really. I mean, I'm not one of those either, I guess. But anyway, it's been a really, really tough year for me emotionally. Monetarily, it's been a fantastic year for me. Thank goodness. I've sold a lot of houses, even during this nasty pandemic. I mean, currently I'm in 4 escrows right now. People are buying homes in California, even through all of this. I mean, we've been locked down for 9 months in California, as far as bars and restaurants and stores and things like that. The only restaurants that I've actually been in since March actually have been in Puerto Vallarta. You can't get in one in California. And still, there plenty of people are buying homes here, and they're selling them too, right? I mean, that's why there's business. There are people that are coming, and there are people that are going, and it's been booming for me. But I feel really, really bad for a lot of people who are not doing well during this pandemic. A lot of people out there who have been forced out of work. I got a kid in college. He's an athlete. He plays volleyball. He's on a scholarship in Wisconsin. And he and all of his schoolmates just basically being turned into test rats. So that's not so great. My dad, who's almost 90 years old, is, in assisted living, and he's kind of like being put away. He doesn't like it either. So there is a silver lining, and the silver lining is that I've gotten a lot of support from a lot of you listeners out there. A lot of you actually appreciate what I do, and the people that I have interviewed and that I've spoken with on the ground, especially Mexicans. They have been very grateful, very thankful, and supportive of my efforts to let everybody know that Puerto Vallarta and Mexico is open. It's open to tourism, and they want you to know that they are waiting for you with open arms, or a fist bump, and a face mask, and they want you to come back. And that's why I keep doing what I keep doing. So, as we begin year number 5 of the podcast, I just want to thank all of you for listening. Those of you who stayed, I want to thank you for supporting JR, for supporting John Russell over at VallartaInfo.com. I'm buying tours through him right from his website, right? Because that's what it's all about as far as I'm concerned. I want to help JR and the other people here in Vallarta. Thanks for remembering him, and thanks for referring JR to your friends and family and people that you know that are visiting Puerto Vallarta. So keep on going and keep doing what you're doing over there at VallartaInfo.com. Thanks to my friends over at Lapa Lapa and Grupo Lapa Lapa. Thank you, Alberto Perez. Thanks for allowing me to use your music and your theme song. I am forever grateful for that, and I'll be over at Lapa Lapa in just a couple of days. I can't wait. So I just want to say that whether or not we agree or disagree about stuff, things that I talk about, I know I've made you guys mad over the years. I've gotten emails. But let's start the year being a little more tolerant and civil towards one another, really. I love doing this show. And most of all, I love you. I love all of you. So remember, just slow down and be kind. And thanks for listening. And let's start the new year with a hope and a prayer that we can all get through this together, and we can all once again enjoy paradise real soon, if you haven't already. All right? Okay. Thanks, guys. Now, if you are from Canada, it may be a little bit more difficult for you to come to Puerto Vallarta. They have some new restrictions that have been put on you Canadians. Sorry about that, but this is from an article over at Travel Pulse Canada. It reads, the Government of Canada will begin requiring visitors arriving by air to provide a negative COVID-19 test. Multiple news sites, including Canadian press, say that the Liberal government in Ottawa made the move official on Wednesday morning. Senior government officials in the Justin Trudeau government said all passengers on flights coming to Canada will have to present a negative PCR test taken within 3 days of their arrival. The move could come into effect in a few days, Global News said. Similar requirements have been brought in by countries around the world. Public Safety Minister Bill Blair said the presence of Canada Border Service Agency agents will also be increased at border crossings and airports to ensure Canadians understand the newly tightened rules, Global reported. We strongly advise against travel unless absolutely necessary, Blair said at a news conference in Ottawa on Wednesday. If you must travel, understand that upon your return, you must follow guidelines and quarantine for 14 days. It's not just the right thing to do, it is the law. And if you don't, it can result in serious consequences. Canadian aviation expert Robert Kokonis panned Ottawa's plan. My expectation, shared with many people in the industry in Canada, is that testing on arrival is good, he said in an email. At the same time, I believe, as do others, that a requirement for advanced COVID testing should be implemented only in conjunction with a reduced quarantine period. The requirement now for travelers entering Canada who are largely Canadian citizens and residents to get an advanced negative COVID test and still quarantine for 14 days upon arrival will deter even more passengers from traveling, Kokonis said. Already brutal weak load factors on international routes could be reduced to table scraps, forcing our airlines to make additional route and capacity reductions. This will translate directly to additional lost airline jobs, rippling those job losses across the broader aviation and tourism chain, and could be setting up our industry for catastrophic losses. The National Airlines Council of Canada also questioned the announcement. We strongly believe it must also be utilized in conjunction with measures to reduce quarantine levels, as is being done in countries around the world, said NACC Chief Mike McNanny. The implementation of the new testing requirement must be used as a springboard to a more coordinated approach to mitigate risk and implement science-based policy with respect to quarantine measures, he said. While industry will do all it can to implement the new requirements and ensure passengers are aware of their obligations, given the lack of detail and prior consultation, this is going to be a very challenging exercise, the complexity of which the government must not underestimate. Ontario Premier Doug Ford has recently jousted with the federal government on the issue of rapid testing for arriving passengers. Ford last week said Ontario would go ahead with rapid testing at Toronto Pearson, with or without the federal government's help. The National Post on Wednesday reported that the Ontario and federal governments are preparing to unveil a joint COVID-19 rapid testing program at the province's biggest airport as early as next week, as both sides seek to deflect blame for a growing number of travel-related cases entering Canada. A spokesman for Ontario Premier Doug Ford said a new pilot program to test international travelers entering Canada through YYZ would be unveiled in the early new year. The Post said the plan could test around 315,000 travelers over a 3-month period. And wow, that's a lot of work, you guys. I have a link to that story of that article from Travel Pulse Canada in the show notes. So if you are Canadian and you have some questions regarding, how do you get tested? How do you get tested? Well, here's how it's done if you are in Puerto Vallarta. According to Pam Thompson, she writes, "Before hundreds tag me with questions, anyone that needs this test, you are welcome to contact me. What is required is the PCR swab test. Nothing else will do. I have a location for the test for people with no symptoms and one for people with symptoms, so the people are not mixed. Email only, please, and include complete legal name that matches your passport, date of birth, phone, contact, etc. And this test is 4,500 pesos. And please, no comment on the price. They're expensive to purchase. And the quick test, antibody test are much cheaper, but they're also less accurate. And she's got her email address in here. I'll have this in the show notes for you Canadians who are trying to figure out how you can get back into Canada. Pam's got the answer for you right here. If you are in town, the Art Walk is happening. Yes, the Puerto Vallarta Art Walk is happening once again. Wednesday nights from 6 o'clock until 10 p.m. They are doing it a little differently, of course. I'm sure, the food and stuff like that's a little bit difficult, but whatever. Let's see here. They've got all kinds of galleries participating. Galleria Collectica, Galleria Uno, Corsica Gallery, Corsica Uno, Corsica Dos, Posters International. You've got Redbird Gallery, Brown Gallery. You've got Natural Design, Galleria Pacifico, the Loft, and the Potts Gallery. So all these participating galleries are indeed following proper health protocols. They're ready for you to come on in. They want to welcome you into their businesses for some art. And isn't that what makes life just so special and so nice and so wonderful? Beautiful art. And there's so much beautiful art in Puerto Vallarta. So make sure that if you are in town, get out there, walk around, and check out these galleries. I have a link to the website for Art Walk in the show notes. I generally have meet and greets over at Kelly's Por Favor Saloon and Cookhouse when I'm in town. I horn in on JR's get-together. He has his meet and greets on Tuesday nights every week. But I'm doing something a little different this time. I am going to be doing a meetup, a little meet and greet with some digital nomads who live in Puerto Vallarta. And I'm going to find out what these digital nomads do in paradise. We're going to interview them. We're going to find out how they make ends meet, how they make a living, how they can survive in a foreign land, and how they do it. And it should be a real blast. So if you want to join us, you are invited too. If you are a digital nomad, come on down too. I'm going to be buying pizza We're going to be having this over at La Traviata. It's going to be on Monday, January the 11th. And La Traviata is a great restaurant. It's on the top floor. It's on the roof of the Hotel Paloma del Mar over in the Cinco de Diciembre neighborhood of Puerto Vallarta. I'll be buying the pizza, like I said, and you'll buy your own beer. Okay. Let's see. It's going to be from 3 o'clock until 5 o'clock. And we're just going to be talking digital nomadery. So come on over, come join us, even if you're not a digital nomad, if you want to come on in and see what's going on, put it on your calendar. And next week I'll follow up and remind you about this one, and then I'll let you know if we have any other meet and greets planned. We might just do the Kelly's Por Favor Saloon and Cookhouse one, but I'll let you know next week before I leave for Puerto Vallarta. So stay tuned, and I'm looking forward to meeting all of you over in paradise. Now, I have some more articles to talk about, but you know what? It's the new year. Let's get on. Let's get on with the interview, shall we? Last week, I took you shopping. Remember? We went to a secondhand clothing store. It was called Deja Nu Consignment. And this week, we're going to go shopping again. We're going to go clothes shopping, but this time, we're going to go for new clothes. Okay. One of the many perks that I get for doing this podcast is that I get a chance to meet some really, really cool people. And then these really, really cool people actually become your friends. And sometimes they even invite you to go places. So one of these lovely people is my dear friend Sharon. And Sharon's been on the show before, and she invited me and JR to have dinner with she and her husband, Mr. Bill, over at their condo over at the Lindemar. And while we were there, of course, she cooked us a great home-cooked meal, which was delicious. And we laughed, and we had a great time. And the Lindemar, of course, has, it's right on the ocean, and we watched the waves crashing against the rocks. It was a beautiful evening. And Bill has this shirt on, and it's hand-painted. It's got these hand-painted bougainvillea leaves and flowers on it, and it was nice. It was a nice little button-up cotton shirt. So I asked him, where'd you get your shirt? And Sharon says, oh, well, Luisa painted it for him. And she asked if I knew who Luisa was, and I said, no. And she said, well, she's over on Juarez. She's right in the middle of town, and she's been there for years. You need to interview her, Barry. So I do as I'm told. And thank you, Sharon. Thanks for introducing me to Luisa. I wandered down to see her the next day, and I asked if she'd talk with me. She was a little nervous because of her accent, but she agreed to talk with us. And so I made an appointment to see her the next day, and that was the day that when I was on my way to interview her, I left my day pack with all my recording gear on a public bus. So I missed the interview and unfortunately I had to blow her off because I was too busy doing other stuff, like trying to get my life back together. But I did manage to see her 2 days later. I went over to the shop. I apologized for missing my appointment, and she said, no worries, I'm just happy to see you. And I sat down, and we started the interview. Now, all during this interview, I got to tell you, I did a lot of editing, but we were interrupted by clients coming in to pick up stuff and drop off stuff. She does alterations, she does repairs. This lady is busy. This lady is remarkably busy. She spends a lot of time in front of one of her sewing machines doing repairs and alterations and whatnot. And if you look behind where she sits, you can see a small mountain of finished stuff, garments, sitting there waiting to be picked up. And like I said, she's busy. Her shop is beautifully appointed. It's got the styles are flowy. They're made from manta cotton. And when I looked up the meaning of manta, what it says is it's 100% natural. It's unbleached cotton, and it's known as cotton crudo, or wild cotton, or organic cotton. And typically, it's used to make men's shirts called guayaberas, and the cotton fiber is sturdier. It's more loosely woven, and so it's cooler. And of course, that makes sense in a humid tropical climate now, doesn't it? So anyway, so let's go right now. Let's go to a sweet little clothing store that bears the name of the owner herself, right in the middle of Puerto Vallarta on Juarez 144 in Zona Centro. And let's meet one of the nicest ladies that you may ever meet. Her name is Luisa Martinez of Luisa's 100% Cotton Clothing since 1991 in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Luisa, thanks for coming on the show today.
Oh, thank you, Barry. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from, and what was the path to Puerto Vallarta?
Okay. I born in Zapopan. Zapopan is very close to Guadalajara. And my first 17 years, I've been living there. It started like a village, but now it's a big city. So when I was 17, my family moved to Guadalajara, the big city. And then one day, one of my sisters, Mary, we make a very good team, she and I. In the meantime, I've been working for another company, but she decided to start in the manufacture clothing.
Okay.
So, and she started first. She been working, selling clothes in different places like Mazatlan, Acapulco, Colima, and even here in Puerto Vallarta. So, but one day, I left my another job, and I decided to make team with her, doing things. So one day, when I came to Puerto Vallarta, I fell in love with this town, and I decided to start with my dreams, to have one store. So this is the way when I came here to Puerto Vallarta to start my dreams in my life.
Yeah, wow. And so how old were you when you left Zapopan?
No, too young. I was 31 years old.
You were young. What are you talking about? Yes.
Well, in that age, when you are still living with your family, with your parents,
Yeah.
and it's the time, I think it's the time to make your life and do something by yourself.
Yeah.
Well, my family was behind me.
Yeah.
Because without my family, without my mom, without my sister, I cannot do nothing.
Right. It's you need
Always.
a little support, huh?
Yes, always we need a family.
Yeah.
To work together.
Excellent. So is Mary still working here? Or no,
She-
she's still
she's
selling
in
clothing.
Guadalajara.
She's still selling clothing?
Yes, it's still doing things for this store, the clothing for the store, everything, the Luisa's brand, because we had the brand, Luisa's. She make for me.
So Luisa's is kind of a Jalisco-wide brand. Your sister sells it all around the state, huh?
Oh, yes, all around the state, Jalisco.
Yeah.
And even Nayarit, because it's very close to Jalisco.
Yeah.
Nayarit, we sell the Luisa's brand Bucerías, Punta Mita. And between Bucerías and Punta de Mita, there another one, La Cruz de Guanacaxtle. It's very famous place.
Yeah.
It's beautiful too. And
So Luisa's can be found on the bay, like all over the bay too.
yeah, on the bay. Yeah, a couple of stores here in Puerto Vallarta sell the Luisa's brand too.
Excellent. All right. So tell us what makes Luisa brand so special. What makes it so unique?
When you work in the store and you know the customers and friends' needs, so you have the idea and the style. And the Luisa's brand has classic designs, never pass away. Always is in time to wear. And I think because Vallarta on the beach, we call manta, is kind of the weave. 100% cotton.
Yes.
Yeah. It's excellent for this weather.
You need it. You need 100% cotton, don't you? So most of your clothing is 100% cotton.
Yes. We started with manta with 100% cotton. It's most of the clothes here in the store, but even now I have some in linen. And the chiffon, why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
Does chiffon breathe, or is it more? Does it trap the heat more?
Well, the chiffon you can wear only in this climate because with the breeze flowing very nice.
Beautifully, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. You have a great style here. You do paint clothing, right?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yes.
So what kind of things do you paint? What kind of things do people ask you to do?
Every season, I tried to do a little bit different. One time was I've been painting hummingbirds, and what's the season for the hummingbirds? A couple years ago, with the butterfly monarchs, but now is the time for the dragonflies. I started to paint dragonflies, and it's incredible. I put one mannequin outside, and this catch the attention to the.
Wow.
Yeah.
They love the dragonflies.
They love the dragonflies.
So you have all kinds of styles. It's all ladies' clothing, yes?
I have a few things for men's too.
You do.
And even I do the paint for them. Even the bougainvilleas, I do the paint now. I have to start to do because the high season is coming.
Yeah.
So I need to prepare for more.
Right.
And
so you paint men's shirts too?
Oh, yes.
Ah.
Yeah. We have like 3 or 4 styles, and we can work on it. Some classic pants, some shorts too. And I do the tie-dye.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
different
fantastic.
techniques. With ice, with the spray, with tie.
Wow. All right. Yeah, I see a few tie-dyes here, and that's pretty cool.
Thank you.
So a lot of these styles, they are very loose-fitting, they are very flowy, and I think that's on purpose, right?
Yes, because this, if it's flowing, make more comfortable to wear, not in tie.
Right. Yeah, because you don't in the heat and in the humidity. If it's tight, then you're not feeling comfortable, right?
You feel uncomfortable when something is a little bit tight. So we want to make comfortable to the customers.
Yeah.
And this is one of the principal worries about
making sure that it's right for your customer.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the clothing that you have here that's on the rack, every once in a while, if it doesn't fit right, you do tailor as well?
Excellent. When I started, I didn't know how to sew, and I had one tailor who been doing this, but sometimes she was busy, and I've been doing the hem by hand. So one day I decided to go and take one course to learn how to do it. And one of my friends, she's from Minnesota. Before was my customers, my touring friends, because she came coming to Puerto Vallarta, and she told me, Luisa, you need this sewing machine. So she sent me one from Minnesota, somebody been using to make quilts. So, and it's very special machine for me. And I started. I went to the course to study and learn and the practice with my customers here. So I do this service now.
Wow! So you put a seamstress out of business, huh?
Oh yes.
Yeah. Well, that just because she wasn't there all the time, what can you do? What can you say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If something is a little bit it's not fit perfectly, well, I have the solution here.
Yeah, you do.
And even, I have one friend who has the Venetian shop very close to here. They need something to to do feed something, the very soon they come to me, and I help. Yeah, why not?
Why not? Yeah, absolutely.
We are in the we want to make very good community.
Yeah, and help
to
each other.
Help each other.
Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent.
In the way.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
To do it.
That's the Vallarta way.
Uh-huh.
I noticed you had a customer came in. She had a specific thing for you to do. So you'll take on pretty much any job, it looks like to me. It didn't look like clothes that she was working with. It looked like something else.
Yeah, when some of my customers are from the States or from Canada, if they find something they really love, and it's different size, they think on me. And they said, oh, when I go back to Puerto Vallarta, I can buy this, and Luisa can fix it for me. And they do. They come me on the summer, they come in the winter time, and I do.
And you do some tailoring
for them.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Now, if somebody were to come to you and say, Luisa, I saw this in a magazine, and I'm going to show you this. Can you make it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I take measurements. I see the picture. I do the pattern. Yeah. And I do.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
That's professional. All right.
I try every day to be positive and do very good service for everybody who pass the door and come here. Oh, it's a blessing. All the people who come to me.
Yeah, and you've got quite a following because of that, because you have that kind of attitude. You know?
I have very good friends, believe me.
Yeah, I believe it. I do.
Very big angel behind me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
This is very.
Let's leave Luisa's for just a minute. Let's go off into town. This is what I called the bonus round, because this is what people want to know more than just about anything in the world, other than they want to know about Luisa's. They want to know about good places to eat. And so I always ask what your favorite breakfast and lunch and dinner place is. You have a favorite breakfast spot?
Here in Puerto Vallarta?
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely. I have one, and the name is Los Mercados. It's on Aquiles Cerdán Street.
Uh-huh.
They open at 9. They have the best bakery. Believe me.
Really?
You're going to love it. And you're going to come to visit them. If not every other day, one day a week, but you have to go and visit Los Mercados.
Los Mercados.
Los Mercados.
They make a killer breakfast.
Yes.
With good bacon.
Good bacon, yes.
All right. What about lunch? You have a favorite lunch spot?
2 different places.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One is Vitea, of course.
Vitea is wonderful. Yeah,
It's
sure
wonderful.
Is.
Other, River Cafe.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you go to Vitea for lunch, what do you order?
They have a quiche, a Spanish quiche. It's one of my favorites. Yeah.
How about dinner? What's your favorite dinner place?
Dinner place, Archie's Walk. Yes, close to the pier. I think the name is Francisca Rodriguez Street. Yeah, this is excellent, believe me. If you love the vegetables, the curries, oh, believe me.
Yeah.
It's the best.
Oh, Archie's Walk is great. Yeah. Do you have a favorite place to go to get a coffee?
Mi Café. You know what is Mi Café?
Oh, yes, I know Alberto, and I love Mi Café.
Sí.
Yeah,
Mi Café is...
It's on Madero and
Madero.
Aguacate or Madero?
Madero and Aguacate, yeah. Yeah, the nickname, his nickname, El Pollo.
Is that right? Alberto, they call him El Pollo?
Del Pollo.
Shh, don't tell him that. Okay, if you walk in there, don't tell Alberto that you were let in on a little secret. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a great place.
Sí. It is.
So dinner. What about dinner?
Dinner.
Yeah.
I love to go to La Marina. Marina on Nima Bay. Well, the condominiums Nima Bay.
Okay, Lima Bay. Or Nima Bay.
Nima Bay.
Yeah.
On the left side, when you go through, different restaurants there. But there one specific. The name is Benito's. Very good, Benito's.
Yeah. What kind of food? What kind of food do they have at Benito's? Is it all Mexican food, or what kind of food is it?
Like Italiano, like Mediterranean. Yeah.
Yeah, you like Benito's. What do you order when you go to Benito's? What do you eat?
They have one dish is with cheese and different vegetables and very good bread. They have squash, slides with the squash with almonds and olive oil and like zucchinis. Pastas also. La traviata is very good.
Yeah.
And different like this. Vegetables. It's excellent.
Yeah.
And you know, the most important, every Friday they have the best music in town.
Over
Right
at
now-
Benito's or Traviata?
Benito's, of
over
course.
Benito's, yeah.
Benito's, yes.
They have live music.
Live music. Like three times a week, but Fridays is the best.
So Friday
Let
night.
me tell you why.
Yeah, why?
Very good music. And my husband is is musician,
Oh,
guitar
right.
player. He play there, but it's not because it's my husband. It's because he and the group, they are excellent.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Well, I would. Don't tell your husband that you said it's not because of him, okay? Don't tell him
No,
that.
no.
Tell him it's because of him.
Yes, because because
All right. So if you want to have a real treat, go to Benito's in the marina and listen to Luisa's husband play. Yeah, right?
It has very nice time. Even you can dance and have fun there.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. I like that idea. If you had a day to go somewhere, just to leave town and come back, where would you go?
Every Sunday is my day off. And we decided to go to different places. First, to the north is Bucerias. We have places in Bucerias. One is La Postal. If we go for lunch, we go to Suca, right there on the beach. For one day, half a day.
That's your day, yeah.
And and after this, we go to do groceries. And when we come back to Puerto Vallarta, another place is La Cruz. La Cruz, we have another good restaurant too. So and Punta de Mita, I like Punta de Mita. And there one restaurant, the name is De Mita, and it's the best on the bay. And El Anclote is the beach. Believe me,
That's
De
the
Mita
spot.
restaurant is excellent.
Demita. I got to get out there, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for that idea.
See?
Well,
it's
when you
excellent.
go to Demita, what do you buy? What do you eat? What do you order?
They have one ceviche. The name is Peruano. Peruano ceviche is the best in that place. And it's like zarandeado fish. It's excellent.
Sounds
And
wonderful.
margaritas and lemonades, the best.
And you're on the beach.
Yeah,
Oh,
right there on the
man.
beach.
Oh, you can't beat that. All right. This is great. What a great idea. How about for 3 days? If you were going to get out of town for 3 days, where would you go? Would you go back to Zapopan? Or
My favorite.
Where?
My favorite place. Of course, Guadalajara, to visit all my family and even the restaurants. I love to go and visit restaurants and markets. I have my favorites there. Even Zapopan. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's your favorite restaurant in Guadalajara?
Guadalajara. I have, two of my very wonderful restaurants. One, the name is El Diablo.
El Diablo.
Yeah. If we forget the name,
It's pretty easy.
Well, it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Well, El Diablo is excellent. Very good salads and pizzas.
Okay. And that's your favorite spot in Guadalajara.
In Guadalajara. Another favorite restaurant is Santo Coyote.
Santa Coyote.
Santo Coyote is It's very famous.
Yeah?
Very good.
Yeah?
Mexican food. Mariachi in the night. Tequila. All the paints, the murals. So beautiful. Oh, it's excellent.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
For all you folks that, are going to be taking one of those day trips to Guadalajara or, a couple of days in Guadalajara, take note because Luisa has got some great, great suggestions. If you had a word of advice for a first-time visitor to Puerto Vallarta, what would it be?
Well, if you come here for the first time, first, come through the downtown. Because some of the people who come for the first time and they stay in the resorts, they think the resort is everything in Puerto Vallarta. But you have to discover everything here in the downtown. Because here is everything too. The stores and the people is very friendly, gentle. Oh, and watch your steps because all the streets are up and down, and the sidewalk is not
flat.
No flat. Yeah, it's
so
one
careful.
of the characteristics here. Yeah, be careful with this.
Yeah. And also, you have to, when you're walking up to a curb, sometimes you got to judge it because they've got pretty high curbs, and sometimes you can't make it all the way up. There, you have to step really high. So you be careful that judge it as you're crossing the street, to make sure that it's not too tall for you.
Yes, no, you have to be careful here in the downtown.
Yeah, especially right.
Yes.
Do you have any words of warning? Is there anything that you want to make people aware of that?
Yeah, well, here in Puerto Vallarta, sometimes you think you are in the party. Well, you are in the party.
Oh, yeah.
But to be in the party is not to say, I have to drink a lot. You don't need to drink a lot. If you have one to enjoy it because the climate and the weather, I think is okay. The other, your body and your attitude about the life make the rest. Be happy and stay safe.
Excellent. Gosh, those are great words of advice. Let's come back to Luisa's. Tell us, do you have like a Facebook page or a website?
I don't understand. I'm very lazy to do this. Oh, I'm not lazy.
You're too busy to do it.
Too busy. Yeah. Sometimes I say, in the summertime, I'm going to do this and that. But this store keeps me busy all the time. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it is.
Always.
We've been sitting here, and you guys don't know this, but we've been helping customers this entire time. So she is a busy, busy lady. And so I understand that completely. But we'll put a Google map right in front of you so that everybody will be able to find your place, and you'll be able to find it, of course, at www.puertovallartatravelshow.com. And in there, you will see beautiful pictures of Luisa's designs, and you'll be able to see a smiling face of Luisa. And next time you come to Puerto Vallarta, you gotta come and visit her.
Of course. Oh, thank you. Thank you very.
Is there anything that I'm missing? Is there anything that I need? What is your address?
Oh, Juarez, 144, half a block from River Valley.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Is there something I missed? Is there anything you wanted to add before we say goodbye today?
Thank you for coming, and thank you for visiting me. Thank you for being here in Puerto Vallarta, in the paradise.
Well, I love Puerto Vallarta. And I think I love you too, Luisa.
Oh, you are a lovely person. I love you.
Thank you very much for coming on the show and letting me introduce you and Luisa's to my listeners. I truly appreciate it.
Thank you very much, very. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Luisa. She is as nice as she sounds, guys. And her clothes, they're beautiful. They're perfect for Puerto Vallarta. I actually now have one of her shirts. And guys, if you need one, to add to your Vallarta wardrobe, I suggest you go check it out. I think you do need one. And ladies, go see Luisa. She's got something for you too. I have pictures of her clothing and all of the great stuff that she makes. The inside of her shop looks beautiful. I got pictures of that. I have links and I have maps that will take you right to the front door of Luisa's. And you can find that, of course, at www.puertovallartatravelshow.com. All right. Well, that should do it for this week. Next week, stay tuned for more on-the-ground reports from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, with travel tips, great restaurant excursion ideas, and more. But until then, remember that this is an interactive show where I depend on your questions and your suggestions about all things Puerto Vallarta. If you think of something that I should be talking about, please reach out to me by clicking on the Contact Us tab and send us a message. And remember, if you're considering booking any type of tour while you're in Puerto Vallarta, you must go to vallartainfo.com. That's JR's website, and reserve your tour right from him, right from his website. Remember, this is a value-for-value proposition. His experience and on-the-ground knowledge of everything Puerto Vallarta in exchange for your making a purchase of a tour that you would do anyway. You're just doing it through him as a way of saying thank you. Thanks, JR, for being our guide. It costs no more than if you were going to use someone else, so do it, really. And when you do take one of those tours, email me about your experiences. Maybe you can come on board and share with others what you liked or didn't like about the tour. Again, contact me by clicking on the Contact Us tab and sending off a message. And don't forget, he's got his maps, his DIY tours, his revitalized happy hour board, and more. And I have links to all of those in the show notes. And once again, if you like this podcast, please take the time and subscribe and give me a good review on iTunes if you would. That way we can get the word out to more and more people about the magic of this place, Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Remember, I made it easy for you to do just that with each episode I create. But if you haven't been to my website, you really need to go and have a look there. I have links to the places we talk about, interesting pictures, and more right there in my blog posts and the show notes for each episode of the show. So check them out for sure if you haven't already. All right? All right. Thank you, Luisa Martinez from Luisa's 100% Cotton. Please stop by. See yourself. Buy something from her. You deserve it. I have links and I have maps and I have pictures in the show notes. And remember, when you do see Luisa, tell her that you heard her on the podcast. That'll give her a big smile, I'm sure. And thanks to all of you for listening all the way through this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. This is Barry Kessler signing off with a wish for you to slow down, be kind, and live the Vallarta lifestyle. Nos vemos, amigos.
De Puerto Vallarta, noche de arrullo en el mar, samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de amor junto al mar. Solo camino eterno por la playa, me encuentro junto al río cuando todo está en calma. Pronto cae la noche, me brillas Puerto Vallarta.